So today we're reviewing
The Conjuring 2.
So The Conjuring 2 is obviously the sequel to Conjuring.
The third edition to the Conjuring universe.
Yeah, after Annabelle, it went from really good to not so good, and then we're back up on the positive note here. Conjuring 2 is definitely a good movie. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but it's still really good. There's some good scares, there's good acting. There's a couple different big characters, bad characters in this movie. Like, you have the nun, you have... Is Annabelle in this one or no?
You might see Annabelle when they're in their room, but she's not very focused on this one.
Yeah, it's a crooked man.
It's a new setting. I think the first one took place in America. I forget which country it was, or which state it was. This one I think was in London or England, because you could just tell from the accent of the main family that you're following.
Yeah.
It also takes place before the first Conjuring, so it kind of shows... They had some flashbacks in the first one. This kind of ties into a little bit of that.
It is before the first one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
so it's a prequel, it's not a sequel.
Because I'm pretty sure it's before the first one. This one was directed by James Wan again, just like from the first Conjuring was. But yeah, this is, for me personally, this one's actually better than the first one, but this is the first one that I saw in theater, so I think that has something to do with it too.
Yeah.
I just think that the fact they had multiple demons, they had the nun, they had the crooked man, and I guess really the third one, the old man, wasn't really a demon.
Yeah, true.
And this is spoilers. You find out that the nun was actually manipulating the old man's spirit to try to scare away the family out of the house.
He is a scary character though in the movie.
Yeah,
so there really is
one of the
three
scariest
threats
ones. Yeah,
in the
three
movie.
threats.
So.
Really four.
I think they
if you
juggle
count
well,
Janet. But then again, Janet's really being possessed by the nun. So really the nun's controlling two of those things. But overall, I think this movie was really, really good. The setting, once again, was... comparing this one to Conjuring, I think the setting, honestly, was scarier in the first one a little bit. But then this one was still pretty scary in an older house. But this one wasn't by itself. It was in like a neighborhood.
Yeah,
but the house itself was just... It was really small, so the fact that they made it as scary as they did, like with... just like this, the scenes like this where... I think one of the little boys is walking downstairs to get a drink, and as he's walking back upstairs, you see the shadow of the old man rocking in the chair, and there's no jump scare. I actually didn't even see that the first time. I saw that like the third or fourth time seeing it, which is crazy.
And James Wan likes to do that stuff. I just saw a video today in Insidious, because he directed that too, where there's a scene where you can see like the guy with the hat who dances, the kid in the hat who dances. You can see him like standing near a coat hanger, and so that's another scene where nothing happens. You may see it, and you may not. So James Wan likes to do those kind of things. But
I guess the storyline is to go through. I mean, it's not really we're reviewing it. It's just more what we think about it. Because like obviously, I mean, it's just it's like a poor family. You feel sorry for them the whole time, just from the beginning, because you see how the mom is a single mom, and I guess she has 4 kids. And the little kid wants biscuits. He asked for that a lot.
What's the biggest scare?
Well, before we get into that, I was going to say this, like the storyline. It's like obviously I like this one the most out of this universe. But it's probably, if I had to rank them, this would be number 1 for me. Maybe before Nun, we'll rank them at the end of the Animal Creation. This one's 1 for me, just because the ending, it's a happy ending basically. Like, they save the girl that was being possessed, and they take out the demon.
Don't expect that in the Nun.
Yeah, the Nun, I'm not expecting that. But I guess as far as most memorable scenes, I guess if I had to name 2, because there's a lot of moments in this movie, I'm probably going to forget some. My top scariest one in the theater for me had to be the tent scene at the end of the hallway. The first one, and they actually used that twice. It's when the little boy is rolling the car into there, and you don't see anything. It's just it just keeps rolling back out. Then when he rolls in the last time, something yells. That was just really scary to me. I guess the water scene in the basement near the washer, when that thing's kind of going on, that whole sequence is just really scary when he looks down, because you think it's behind her, and then it's actually he's in the water. That made me jump pretty a lot. And then I guess can I just name one more?
Yeah, well, yes.
I just name. I'll just name so you don't name it.
Just the most memorable scene to me is when the skeptics are thinking that. Well, no, actually, it's when the scene where Ed Ed Warren
forms from Janet.
Yeah, Janet's sitting in the chair and he's talking to her.
That was really cool how they did that.
And it's like blurry, but you see the body slowly change into the old man.
Flickering
the voice
light.
changes, yeah. But yeah, that was definitely the most memorable scene. It's really cool, and like it's blurry, and it looks like she changes into the old man. That's the most memorable scene to me. Obviously, the crooked man scenes are all pretty cool, but
they really, the way you see him disappear, and then you see him under the tent with his like sharp teeth. That was a pretty cool scene. With
his eyes are in his hat, right?
You barely see his eyes. You have to like.
If you
have to pause it, you can see it, but in the
his
movie
eyes
you don't
are
really
actually...
have time to see it. You just see him smile.
But like, is that how he's gonna look in his own movie? He has eyes.
They're probably
his
gonna have to change that up a little bit, because like the way
weird.
he forms out of that dog. At first I'm like, they better not hurt this dog, and that was. I don't think they actually. You saw the dog after that.
Yeah, he just made it look like that.
The scene I was gonna say also that was probably probably third out of the top 3 favorite moments of the movie. Probably had to be the scene with Janet when she's home alone. Which I don't know why you'd be home alone after all this stuff that's going on. And it's like a thunderstorm, and her TV keeps switching from some like comedy that she's watching to like a priest thing, which is actually
the nuns.
Which is actually the nun. That's what really gave it away. I didn't notice the first time, but you think it's the old man that's doing all this stuff because you like when she looks back and forth, the old man's behind her saying "my house." You don't really realize that that's the nun that's doing that because why would he be like the nun? That might be her in that. Channel that they were switching to because she's
she
trying
had
to
be in there somewhere.
So I'm actually thinking that's going to get brought back into this movie this week, The Nun, because I mean, maybe nothing that direct to it, but just something that you're like, oh yeah, that was what they were doing in there. Exactly. We haven't even talked about the freaking scene that's been on all the marketing with the painting of Valak. That was really really scary. I mean, I can't even remember that. The reason with the shot at the end of the hallway, that's really scary no matter what. I had seen it in trailers and like featurettes, so that shot, the first time I saw that shot was in the movie. That might have been the scariest scene I've ever seen in my life. The fact that I've seen it so many times beforehand, it was scary, but it didn't have the same impact as like, say, the red-faced guy in Insidious when that was the first time I saw that in an actual movie. Like that still haunts me today.
I was gonna say the scariest scene to me, or one of the scarier scenes to me, is like it's not really a jump scare, but it's when Janice gets like sucked up to the ceiling. And the old man stands up and walks up the stairs. I just thought that was really scary because like she's on the ceiling.
Yeah.
And
you see him walking.
Yeah, the way he walked up was like really scary to me.
Whistling.
He's just like he's such like a scary presence walking up the stairs, and you know like he's going right to where you are, Bubba. That's
and then also that whole sequence when she's in that room and like they can't get her out.
And you see
you see him in the room. That was pretty scary too.
Yeah,
it's also just the way that it made it really frustrating. Like, I was frustrated for Janet and that family just because it wasn't like the demons were like making it seem like they were setting everything up. Like the lock thing. Like they thought that she locked her in there. The one that really makes me really frustrated. My only complaint with the movie, which isn't really complaining, is the one skeptic, that girl.
She's meant to be annoying.
She's supposed to be annoying, but she films from across. She had a camera hidden facing right towards the kitchen, which I don't know how the nun knew this. But the nun had Janet actually like break the things and make it seem like she was throwing everything purposely.
That is smart.
To make it seem like she was faking it, but that still doesn't explain how a little girl can not only sound like that, but break things like that, throw knives perfectly around people. I mean, I think Janet was pretty scary. Some of the things like just the way they made her face with the demon eyes.
Yeah.
I thought she was pretty scary at a lot of parts. Throwing people around when she swung her sister in the air.
I did think it was, but I liked how there was actually like. Although, honestly, if this movie would have came out before the other Conjuring, I really thought that main guy would have died.
Yeah.
Although you knew he survived, because when he's going through that whole scene, like, it's blurry, and then you see the nun's, like, hand gripping the wall.
And
really, that was a cool scene, and that was actually, it's like something to root for, so I'm actually rooting for him.
You have someone to root for,
he had a chance there.
Which is, we'll get to that in our next review. You had someone to root for, there was a threat. There was threat, but there was also something that could fight against the threat. I just think that was just a great movie. Like there's a lot of really good horror elements, really great scenes in this movie, and then it builds to a climax where there's a big kind of not really boss battle as much in this one, but you see the main villain or the main demon get taken out by someone. I'm not saying you have to take out the demon every time, like kill it off, but the fact like this one really I'm pretty sure it got killed off or at least got taken out of that dimension or that area. I think we've covered just about I can't remember anything else we haven't talked about. Acting was great, movie was great, demons were great, storyline was great, and the ending was great. For me, as you can just tell from what I'm saying, this is like we go to scores. Yeah. I give this I definitely give The Conjuring 2 a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, see, I'm not exactly, like, I thought this movie was really good, and had some really good scenes, but I mean, if I don't like it as much as The Conjuring, I don't really know how I can give it a 10. I mean, if I don't like it as much.
What's your reasoning to not give it a 10?
I mean, like, The Conjuring, there's just, like, and honestly, the main reason is probably because I saw so much in the advertising, which I guess is my fault, but I'm just saying, it's not as effective. I just think the first Conjuring is more effective with some of the scares, like, seeing the person hanging and, like, the feet, and then, like, just the different scenes in that were just, I think, more effective. And, I mean, there's just more
this is looking a pretty high score.
Scenes. Yeah, it's going to be a high score. It's just not going to be as high as The Conjuring. I'd probably give it like a 9.5.
I mean, that's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
But what takes 0.5 off for you? I mean, not saying you can give it what score you want. Just what doesn't... what's lacking 0.5 there?
Well, I mean, obviously the skeptic got me pretty mad, but
that wasn't enough to
be like
reduce
that.
it for me.
I'm just saying if it's not as effective as The Conjuring, I had to bring it down some point.
Personally, the skeptic was possibly going to take a 0.1 off, but I'm like, you know what? That was so minor in this movie that.
No, I know, but like, I just think there was just not a scene like the feet hanging that like literally scared the crap out of me.
My only counter argument to you saying that the marketing showed too much was. I thought the scene where the nun was behind her in the mirror, I'm like, that better not be the climax. They did that right at the beginning, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
Like, great movie. Definitely recommend if you're a horror fan to check this one out. You've probably already seen this. Thanks for watching this quick review, this kind of quick review of The Conjuring 2, and we'll see you guys in the next movie review. Bye.